Have you ever tried to stop thinking negatively, but the harder you try, the worse it gets? You may be stuck in a loop of overthinking and self-doubt, wishing for the negative thoughts to just go away. But what if I told you that forcing yourself to think positive thoughts can actually make the situation worse? That's right, it can. In today's video, we're going to dive deep into how to stop negative thinking without just forcing positivity, and how you can start feeling better without pretending everything is okay. Why positive thinking doesn't always work. Have you ever been told, just think positive, or look on the bright side? It sounds simple enough, but if you've been struggling with negative thoughts, you probably already know that it's not that easy. Studies show that if you're already struggling with negative thoughts, trying to force positivity on yourself will only make it worse. Why does this happen? Our brains are wired to focus more on negative thoughts than positive ones. It's a survival mechanism that we developed over thousands of years. In the past, being alert to danger meant staying alive. If you saw a dangerous predator, your brain would immediately focus on it to ensure your survival. This mechanism worked back then, but in today's world, it means that our minds are constantly focused on the negative. The brain's negativity bias. Let's talk a little more about this negativity bias. Our brains have a built-in tendency to prioritize negative thoughts over positive ones. At any given moment, if your brain has to choose between positivity and negativity, it will naturally pick the negative option. This doesn't mean you're weak or a negative person, it's simply how humans are wired for survival. The reason for this is rooted in evolution. A person who constantly worried about threats was more likely to survive. On the other hand, those who didn't worry, those who stayed too relaxed, didn't make it. Our brains still react to criticism, uncertainty, or even failure in the same way that they would react to a physical threat. So, when you receive a critical comment, your brain doesn't know that it's not a life-threatening situation. It reacts as if your life is in danger. How negative thoughts affect us. Have you ever found yourself obsessing over a single negative comment, even though you've received dozens of compliments? Or replaying a mistake in your head, feeling like you're not good enough? That's because your brain is operating on old survival software, constantly scanning for threats and keeping you alert. The problem is, in today's world, these threats are rarely life or death situations. Yet, your brain treats them as such, keeping you in a constant state of stress. That's why, instead of thinking about the things you have, your brain focuses on what's missing, amplifying your fears and worries. So, how can we break free from this cycle? Shifting your focus with gratitude. The solution to stopping negative thinking isn't forcing yourself to think positive, it's shifting your focus. One powerful way to do this is by practicing gratitude. But not just any gratitude. The type of gratitude that goes beyond just saying thank you or I'm grateful for my house, my job, or my coffee. True gratitude is about feeling it deeply and experiencing it. For example, instead of just saying, thank you for this food, take a moment to think about what that food gives you. It nourishes your body. It gives you energy to work towards your goals. It helps you stay healthy and strong. When you take the time to deeply appreciate what you have, your brain starts to shift its focus from what's missing to what's already there. The power of real gratitude. Gratitude is powerful because it changes the way your brain operates. When you experience real gratitude, even for just 10 minutes a day, your brain starts to recognize safety. It stops scanning for danger and starts recognizing what's going well. The more you practice gratitude, the more your brain will stop asking what's missing and instead start seeing, look at everything I have. When you train your brain to focus on the good, you start to feel better about yourself and your life. You stop thinking, I'm not enough, and start thinking, I have everything I need. The shift in mindset is incredible, and the best part is that you won't be forcing positivity. It will come naturally because you truly believe in it. How gratitude rewires your brain. When you regularly practice real gratitude, your belief system begins to shift. Instead of seeing life as a constant struggle, you start to see it as something you can handle. This is when the magic happens. Negative thinking starts to fade away, and overthinking slows down. Why? Because your brain isn't in survival mode anymore. It's no longer looking for threats, and it can focus on the present moment. This change in mindset isn't temporary. Once your belief system is rewired, positive thinking will begin to work wonders, not because you're forcing yourself to think positive, but because you genuinely believe it. Gratitude gives your brain the safety it craves, and once it feels safe, it will naturally start looking for the good. Breaking the cycle of negative thoughts. Now, Let's dive into some practical steps you can take to stop negative thinking without forcing positivity. It's not about trying to completely erase negative thoughts, but rather about learning how to deal with them in a healthier way. The first step is to pull back and observe your thoughts. This is the start of breaking the negative thought cycle. You might be wondering, how do I observe my thoughts? Well, one way to do this is through visualization. Imagine that the negative thought is coming from a funny character, maybe a comedian or even an opera singer. By visualizing your thoughts in a silly way, you can detach yourself from them and stop taking them so seriously. This technique helps you reframe negative thoughts and see them for what they are, just thoughts, not facts. The importance of self-awareness. Another way to observe your thoughts is by writing them down. When you write down your negative thoughts and then physically throw them away, it can help you release them. This small act of letting go can be surprisingly powerful. It gives you the opportunity to reflect on your thoughts objectively and realize that they don't define you. Remember, your mind is like a tool, and you have the power to control it. You can choose how much attention to give to your thoughts. When you acknowledge them without letting them control you, you're taking the first step towards freeing yourself from the negative thinking cycle. Distract yourself from negative thoughts. Once you've recognized your negative thoughts and distanced yourself from them, the next step is to distract yourself from them. The best way to do this is by replacing negative thoughts with positive coping statements. These statements should be simple, easy to remember, and sound like your own voice. For example, I am enough just as I am. It's okay to not have all the answers, or I can handle uncertainty. Having these statements ready can be a game changer when negative thoughts start to spiral. They act as a shield against negativity and give you the mental clarity to move forward. Grounding techniques to regain control. Another effective way to stop negative thinking is through grounding exercises. Grounding techniques help you stay present and connected to the world around you instead of getting lost in your thoughts. One popular grounding technique is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. To do this, you simply identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Taking a deep breath at the end of this exercise helps you refocus your attention and calm your mind. There are other grounding techniques, too, like focusing on your breath or using the elastic band technique. These exercises may seem small, but they can make a huge difference in breaking the cycle of negative thinking. Making mental health a priority. The final step in stopping negative thinking is to prioritize your mental health. It's important to remember that mental health is just as important as physical health. Don't be afraid to take breaks when you need them. Take time to relax, to recharge, and to practice self-care. When you make mental health a priority, you'll find it easier to stop negative thinking and to create a positive, balanced mindset. Stop negative thinking and start living. If you're struggling with negative thinking, remember that it's not about forcing yourself to be positive all the time. It's about understanding why these thoughts come up and finding healthy ways to manage them. By practicing gratitude, observing your thoughts, using coping statements, and grounding yourself, you can break free from the cycle of negativity and create a more balanced life. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more tips on how to take control of your thoughts and improve your mental well-being. You deserve to feel good inside and out. Keep practicing, and always remember, you're not alone in this journey. You've got this.